You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on. News 25 is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law, voted Best of Las Vegas. Give them a call, 702-727-9900. News 25 is also brought to you by Desert View Hospital. You can count on us.
Good evening. Today is Wednesday, October 18th, 2023. I'm Missy Kohler, and this is News 25. A woman's body is found in town after she jumps from a hot air balloon 4,000 feet in the air. News 25 spoke with Sheriff Joe McGill for the details.
Hi, this is Sheriff McGill. This morning at about 7:15 in the morning, our Nye County Dispatch received information from a hot air balloon operator that is out of Las Vegas that they were flying over the Pahrump Valley and an individual jumped or fell from the balloon. The balloon initially launched from the area of Calvada and Pahrump Valley, and the individual jumped or fell shortly after the balloon ascended. The balloon came back down in the area of Tecumseh and Hacienda, where deputies met with the pilot and the other passengers. Information was gathered as to approximately where the individual was when the individual fell or jumped. And at 8 o'clock, deputies and NCSO located the individual in an open field off of Calvada and Dandelion behind the 4-H building. She was actually found by a Nye County Buildings and Grounds employee who notified us. We responded to the location and confirmed that that was the individual. At the time that the female jumped from the hot air balloon basket, the pilot reports that they were at an elevation of 4,000 feet. We did contact FAA investigators who responded to our location, and they completed their portion of the investigation, and the rest was handled by NCSO. The individual was pronounced dead at the scene. The individual was a female from out of state, and information gathered during the investigation revealed that this was an intentional act, that the female jumped from the balloon, did not fall, and was not forced from the balloon. It was an intentional suicide. There were 8 other passengers as well as 3 crew members on the balloon at the time, on the basket. One of the employees was able to grab the female's wrist, however, she fell free from his grasp. The other people in the hot air balloon basket had no indication. They said that she was quiet throughout the beginning prior to jumping. They were looking out over the landscape and saw her going over the side.
The woman that jumped from the balloon is described as a Hispanic female wearing a purple jacket and blue jeans. The basket of the balloon had a total of 16 passengers. The pilot of the hot air balloon company sends their sympathies and prayers to the family of the deceased woman. A structure fire erupted early this morning on Stanley Drive. Again, we go to Sheriff Joe McGill for the details.
This morning at about 5:45 in the morning, we received a call into NCSO dispatch in reference to a residential fire. The location was 81 South Stanley. Nye County Pahrump Fire and Rescue responded, as well as Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies, and the residence was found to be fully engulfed. The fire department was able to knock down the fire, and as a result of the fire, it was discovered that there were 2 individuals who were found deceased inside the residence due to the fire. One other individual was able to get out of the residence prior to being injured. No further information is available at this time, and any further will be revealed at a later point. The Nevada State Fire Marshal was called and did respond, and they will be taking over the investigation of the cause and manner of the fire.
A tanker truck pulling a trailer load on Highway 95 earlier today crashes after the trailer becomes detached from the truck. Back to the sheriff for the details.
This morning, at about 9:40 in the morning, a crash was reported on Highway 95, mile marker Nye County 7, which is in the area of Mercury Test Site. A tanker truck was reportedly northbound on the highway passing the Mercury Test Site, and it appears that the trailer and load became detached from the truck. The trailer left the roadway, and our initial report was that the trailer had exploded. When I was on the scene, I saw no indication of an explosion or actually fire. It appeared to me like it may have simply been a rupture of the container. The other information was that it was carrying a hazardous chemical. Deputies from the Mercury Test Site, Fire Department from the Mercury Test Site, Nevada Highway Patrol, and Nye County Sheriff's deputies responded to the area. While we were en route, the substance on the trailer was identified as hydrogen peroxide, which is a corrosive. A perimeter of a quarter mile was established, and that quarter mile was evacuated around the truck. There were minor injuries as a result of the crash. The roadway was closed for quite some time. It recently opened at about 1 o'clock this afternoon because the hydrogen peroxide had spilled on the roadway. Traffic is clear and is currently flowing, and any further information should be referred to the Nevada Highway Patrol due to the fact that that is their primary jurisdiction. There was one individual who reported that she had been sprayed from the hydrogen peroxide from the container. She was treated on scene and released.
Various senators and the Foreign Relations Committee chairman banded together to introduce legislation that would demand Hamas to release their hostages.
Senators Jackie Rosen, Todd Young, Cory Booker, Marco Rubio, Bill Cassidy, Tammy Duckworth, Mitt Romney, and Foreign Relations Committee Chairman Ben Cardin all joined forces in order to introduce a bipartisan resolution that would officially condemn Hamas's attacks on Israel. It would also demand the safe release of all hostages so that they may return to their homes. Hamas was reported to have taken approximately 200 people, which include women, children, seniors, and American citizens. Jackie Rosen was quoted stating that, "In Israel, our bipartisan delegation met with the family members of those who were abducted by Hamas. As the only Jewish mother serving in the Senate, these conversations were gut-wrenching, and I promised them I'd lead efforts to ensure these hostages were returned safely to their families." This bipartisan resolution cements our support for the Israeli people, strongly condemns the atrocities carried out by Hamas, and demands the immediate release of the hundreds of hostages being held by this terrorist organization.
Supplies for the citizens within the Gaza Strip. We'll have that story after the break.
You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on. This segment of the news is brought to you by John Air. For all your heating and air conditioning needs, call 775-751-2372.
Welcome back to News 25. After being dangerously low on supplies, citizens within the Gaza Strip are finally getting their humanitarian aid. Meanwhile, a hospital bombing that occurred sparked tension and controversy. Here's RJ Camacho with the story.
During the war, after a bombing from the Israeli military, Gaza has been without energy, medical supplies, and has been facing dire shortages of water. It was reported on the 16th of October that the Palestinians were also facing a food shortage as well as a water one. On October 15th, it was reported that life-saving aid for the civilians caught up in the war was awaiting them at the Rafah crossing into Gaza from Egypt. However, Israel has not been allowing any supplies into Gaza since Hamas took various citizens, some of which being foreigners, hostage. Thankfully, today on October 18th, it was reported that Israel will be allowing Egypt to deliver humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip, but only in limited quantities. According to the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu's office, the decision was made after a request from President Joe Biden, who visited Israel today. However, it was reported that fuel was not mentioned among the humanitarian aid. Instead, the statement only mentioned that they will not thwart any deliveries of food, water, and medicine as long as these supplies do not make it to Hamas. It is currently unknown when the aid will actually begin flowing into Gaza. It was also reported that on October 17th, there was a bombing at a Gaza City hospital, the Al-Ali Hospital, which was packed with those who were wounded and others who were seeking shelter. The blast resulted in the death of approximately 500 people, according to the Gaza Health Ministry. Currently, as of reporting, it is not yet known who's responsible for the bombing of the hospital in Gaza. According to a report from the White House, Israel was not the responsible party. However, information regarding that assessment is still being collected. It's been reported that the bombing has caused even more tension as others rush to deny involvement in the bombing. According to a report from the Times of Israel, IDF spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari stated that Israel did not strike the hospital and continued stating that the attacks were instead due to a failed rocket launch by the Islamic Jihad movement. Daniel Hagari was quoted stating that, "I can confirm that following an analysis of the IDF operational systems indicates that a barrage of rockets was fired by terrorists in Gaza, passing in close proximity to the Al-Ali hospital in Gaza at the time it was hit. However, Islamic Jihad has denied these claims, going on to state that the accusations promoted by the enemy are baseless. The group does not use places of worship or public facilities, especially hospitals, as military centers or weapon stores. As of now, it is currently uncertain as to who is actually the responsible party for this bombing. But one thing that's clear is that the bombing has caused outrage following the death of the aforementioned 500 people. Within hours of the reports about the hospital bombing spreading, various protesters were reported to hurl stones at Palestinian security forces in the country of Jordan. Protests sparked as well in Egypt, Lebanon, Morocco, and Bahrain. According to various reports about these various protests, one thing is clear. Everyone taking part is furious about the bombing, and all condemn these actions. The director of the Al-Ali hospital came out and made an appeal for the war to end. Suhaila Tarazi, the director, went on to state that what she saw was unlike anything that she has ever seen or could ever imagine. Tarazi recounted seeing the body parts of children everywhere in the hospital and its courtyard. She went on to state that our hospital is a place of love and reconciliation. We are all losers in this war, and it must end. The death toll rose again following that attack, going from approximately 2,700 to an approximate 2,800.
Knight County Sheriff's Office arrests a man for multiple felony warrants. We go to Sheriff Joe McGill for the story.
Good morning. As a result of a recent change that we have implemented, we have began posting every Wednesday what I'm calling the Wanted Wednesday. This information is going out on our NCSO app as well as Facebook and the X platform, formerly Twitter. Today's candidate was identified as Aaron Foster. Mr. Foster had multiple felony warrants out for his arrest, all listing as no bail. That information came up at 8 o'clock this morning, and shortly after that, information was received where Mr. Foster could be located. NCSO deputies took Mr. Foster into custody, and he is currently at the Knight County Detention Center for his charges.
The NASCAR playoffs are in Vegas, and we'll talk about that after the break. Stay with us.
You're watching News 25. Local coverage you can count on. News 25 is brought to you by Mountain West Lawyers, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500.
Thank you for staying with us. The NASCAR playoffs are in full swing after an elimination round last weekend. The round of 8 begins in Las Vegas.
October is finally here, and NASCAR was just at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the first races in the round of 8 of the championship playoffs. Friday afternoon was a very short yet very important day for the Xfinity Series with practice and qualifying. John Hunter Nemechek would pull behind the wall a week after practice and forfeit qualifying. Cole Custer would be fastest in practice, but it would be the 8 car of Josh Berry who would be fastest in qualifying and score the pole for Saturday. When Saturday morning rolled around, it was the Cup Series drivers' turn for practice and qualifying for their race on Sunday. Chase Elliott and Daniel Suarez would suffer separate crashes in their practice sessions and be forced to back up cars for Sunday. Ross Chastain would top the boards in practice, but it was playoff driver Christopher Bell who would score the pole. Once the Cup cars wrapped up their practice and qualifying sessions, the Xfinity Series cars took the track for the afternoon's Alsco 302. A string of early cautions would slow down the race pace, and a huge pileup at the beginning of Stage 2 would cause the race to be red flagged. Despite all of the early carnage, the remainder of the race would be clean and green. This is exactly what Riley Herbst needed to coast to a dominant victory and pick up his first career win in front of his hometown crowd. For Sunday South Point 400, 8 drivers were looking to be the first to punch their ticket to compete for a championship in Phoenix. Kyle Larson took an early lead and was able to win the opening stage without much contention from Christopher Bell or others. While some drivers found themselves down on their luck, it was Legacy Motor Club who seemed to be dealt a particularly sour hand, with both of their cars having tire issues leading to accidents during the race. Back out front, Kyle Larson held a very steady lead, and it seemed as though nobody would be able to catch him. However, Christopher Bell looked to have an ace hidden up his sleeve. In a spectacular closing lap charge, Christopher Bell would steadily chop down Larson's lead. Unfortunately for the 20 team, they would come up short by just a matter of feet, as he would run out of laps and Larson would barely hold on for the win and guarantee himself a spot to fight for a championship. From the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, this is Michael Donahue, reporting for News 25.
Las Vegas native Kyle Busch finished third during Sunday's race. Samantha Harris from Valley Electric is here to tell us about the Co-op Connections program.
This segment of News 25 is brought to you by Valley Electric and its family of companies focused on serving our members. We're better together.
As a member of Valley Electric, we're excited to offer you the Co-op Connections program, a free membership program that gives you access to local and nationwide discounts. With Co-op Connections, you can save on prescriptions, dental, vision, hearing, lab testing, and more. You can also get discounts on travel, entertainment, safety and security, and local businesses. To use Co-op Connections, simply visit our website or download the mobile app. Once you're logged in, you can browse through our directory of discounts and find the ones that you're interested in. To redeem a discount, simply show your Co-op Connections card or app at the checkout. If you are a local business and would like to participate in the program, please visit vea.coop under the Community tab to learn more and sign up today. Also, if you are a member owner, download the app or come into the office and pick up the card.
News 25 WeatherCam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
It's another beautiful day today. Look at those mountains. John's got the full weather forecast coming up. Is it going to stay so nice, though? We'll wait and find out. Stay tuned for weather at News 25.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios, all up and down the East Country Radio Network and to your mobile device worldwide, courtesy of Facebook. Thanks, Zuckerberg. Maybe you'll monetize me someday. Wouldn't that be fun? Fernley, 77 degrees, 78 out there in Fallon. Carson City, all the way up to 80 degrees like a banana belt up at Carson City. Next door in Tonopah, not so much. 76 degrees. You're the Cool Spot Award winner. Congratulations again. 78 degrees out in Goldfield puts them in the money. Beatty sweating it out at 90 degrees. 94 in Amargosa for our Hot Spot Award winner today. And Las Vegas, perfect poolside 91. Get a mojito. Out in Death Valley, 104 degrees. And the road is open here in the Paradise of Pahrump. Let's take a look. Current temperature, 90 degrees. That's where we're sitting currently. 92 just a little bit earlier. It was a really nice day. Winds out of the west-southwest, just 5 miles per hour. Whispering to us gently. Sun rose this morning at 6:53. Sets this evening. Look for it to go away about 6:04. It will be exactly at 6:04, and you can count on it. Nice sunset tonight. Clear skies tonight, and we're heading down to a low of 58 degrees. Seems pretty pleasant. How about the rest of the week? Well, I know we got a couple days of sunshine, and then look at this, couple days of clouds, and the wind's kicking up. That's sort of the plan here. Anyway, a couple days of 90-degree weather. We start cooling off on Saturday with some clouds in the sky. Winds start to kick up to 11, 10 miles per hour. That's cooling things off, just like blowing across your meatloaf there. 71 degrees on Monday. That's kind of where it stops, and we kind of start with a little bit of clouds, a little bit of sunshine here and there. Temperatures in the mid-70s starting next week. That should be all right. I mean, it's the fall. What do you expect? This is just right dialed in. It's perfect. All right, back to the desk. Here's Missy Kohler.
So Monday could be sweater weather? I guess we'll wait and find out. Thanks so much for watching News 25 tonight. That's going to do it for us. I'm Missy Kohler. Have a nice night.